Alright guys, we're about to get this rolling. We're gonna make it quick. System check. Alright, mic check, mic check. How you guys doing, man? We're going to make this quick. We're going to have... Oh, wait a minute. Okay, no, we're good. We're good. We're going to make this quick, but I always say we're going to make it quick, right? So the length of this discussion, I think this is pretty important here. I'm going to kind of highlight something. How you doing, Job? Sound and video good. Excellent, excellent. Well, let's get it while it's good then. So today we're going to go live and we're going to talk a little bit about top 5 offshore kayaks, but this isn't like a separate deal of what I just had. So I recently was on a podcast, the Paddlers Playbook. Got a really good chance to sit down with some good friends, Drew and Chris, and these guys have just a really good, well put together podcast. These guys just conversate well. It's very easy to listen. And we went 2 hours talking about offshore kayaks. Actually, it was like a top 5 series, but it was a top 5 of a lot of different things. But the main header, the main subject was top 5 offshore kayaks. And the reason I wanted to come out is because I've had a lot of responses from this podcast that I did. They gave their top 5. Drew gave his, Chris gave his, and then I gave mine. And I wanted to just kind of explain a few things, you know. Not that I didn't get any negativity back. Actually, I got a lot of positive feedback back, but there was just a lot of questions on why this and why not that. So I'm going to kind of break that down for you guys. And if you haven't listened to that podcast, I'm going to put a link at the bottom of this video once we're done. This will just be a quick run through of my personal top 5 on that podcast. And I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more in detail why, because this was sort of a turntable kind of conversating podcast. And I didn't really get a chance to really talk about that. So we're going to break it down. So I didn't realize until Drew had told me that like if you Google top 5 kayaks, or just top kayaks in general, specifically for this year, it's kind of scary, man. I don't know how they're getting this algorithm, or I don't know how they're getting this voting, or how they're putting this together, but it was a little bit alarming when I saw this, because I was like, you know, if somebody's really going to take this to heart and somebody's really going to consider these different kayaks to go offshore in, well, you know, they could easily get somebody killed out there, man. I mean, there were some sit-inside kayaks, which, you know, if you're a whitewater guy and you have a lot of experience, you'd be like, well, what's the big deal? The thing is we're not those guys, right? We're anglers. We're anglers first and kayakers second. So for us, for our skill sets, for the most part, it's, you know, always sit on top kayaks. And if it's anything outside of that, I just obviously wouldn't recommend it. Some of the kayaks that were listed were, and I won't go through the names of what was on Google or what's on the search engines for top kayaks in the industry right now, but a lot of them were just inshore kayaks. Not really, they didn't really have like a pure offshore DNA. And it was kind of alarming, man. By the way, stick around. We're going to give away, so Next Level Fishing TV has got lifestyle tees. Not so much pertaining to the show, just more of they're like kayak fishing t-shirts. They're lifestyle t-shirts. I'm going to be giving one away. If you'd like in on this drawing, type number 1, or just let me know, and I'm going to write, you know, names as we go. A little more volume. Okay, hang on. A little more volume. Let's get... All right, how about now? If I do too much gain, then we're going to get crazy. 111. All right, so we got... You just keep rolling. If you want in on this giveaway tonight, I'm going to just type 1. Job. Moyak. Michael. Chris. All right, cool. So at the very... So my top 5... the very number 5 for me, if you guys are seriously interested in just kayaks that are really designed for offshore. Not so much they can do offshore. A lot of kayaks can do offshore. You know, it's always environment based, and if the environment is right and it's crystal clear, well, then any kayak can be out there technically. But number 5 on my list was a kayak that is probably the only offshore kayak that is listed under $1,000. I mean, it actually does very well. And there's going to be a lot of questions when I say this. There was when I told, and rightfully so, and I'll explain that. So I listed the Malibu X13, not the X Factor, not the Stealth 14, even though that's sort of advertised as some of their big water kayaks out in the California area. But the X13 is a offshore kayak that I listed as number 5, specifically because it's an $899, $900 kayak. A lot of people don't know that the X13 is actually a base mold, especially the undercarriage, out of the Trident 15. And so in the industry, we sort of see this, right? We sort of see, in order, I think the design change, as long as there is a 30% alteration in hull design, technically, legally, a company can patent its own mold, which means that, well, you can have the bottom of a really good kayak and copy its keel, copy all that. But if you change the top of it enough, well, they can get away with that. So the X13 is sort of a draw from the Trident series. When you look at it, take a real good look at it. If you have a Trident 15 particularly, and you have an X13, just kind of flip them and look at them, and you'll notice some similarities. A lot of similarities, actually. Now, the top is obviously completely different, but nonetheless, it's actually a kayak that nobody talks about for the offshore scene. And I've had it for about almost 2 years, and I've been able to run it through the surf, flip it, see what kind of water it takes on. The hatching on it was super important to me because I have had a Stealth 14. I have had an X Factor-ish kind of kayak. And I've had the Trio 10, which I actually still have. The hatches they are bad. The hatches do, and Malibu has hatching issues. And Chris had stated on that podcast, and he was at 100% right, that they almost try to add like all this stuff, right? And you don't need all this stuff. They try to add live wells, big hatches that convert into hatches where you can stand up, and they'll give you real nice platforms for that. Then they got live wells built in, which is cool. Actually, I really like that feature. But it kind of takes away from storage. But the X13, man, is still, even though it's a $900 kayak, man, and I've paddled it for a few years. I've fought big sharks. It's got some speed. It's a 1310 lengthwise. It's super light, man. It has a sharp bow. Now, it does not have a high rocker. It has almost like a piercing rocker, very similar to like the Vibe that you see, the new Vibe. If you look at the bow, it's got a real similar bow to that. So that was my number 5, and I just wanted to clear that up because there are some issues with Malibu kayaks that people know about. But the X13, it kind of separates itself. And when you look at it, it's not the same, man. It's not the same. It's different from those X Factors. So that was my number 5. My number 4, surprised a little bit. It's a Hobie kayak. It's the Revo 16. Man, the Revo, you're gonna notice that a lot of the kayaks that I have versus what they picked, theirs were a little bit more for comfort, more for, and maybe this is something you're looking at, but the type of fishing I do is, I'm looking for comfort, yes, but I'm also looking for storage, speed, stability, but a blend of two, not too much stability to where I'm dragging and I'm too slow, but just enough. And the Revo came in at number 4 for me, and it really could have been listed higher. It's just where I'm at geographically. I prefer these other 3, which I'm about to list. My only thing about the Revo is once you find, yes, it's a little tippy, but so are all the rest that I'm about to list. It's a skill set. It's a skill set. That's what I would say to that. Once you find your center on kayaks, you'd be surprised how untippy it becomes. But you gotta find your center. You got to build that skill set, you know, and if that means that you can't turn around and grab bait and twist your head, otherwise you lose your equilibrium, then don't do it. You know, I started off like that. I had to like keep my head straight and reach back just so I could feel out where my center was. And it took me a little bit to get used to that. But the Revo is super fast, man. It's super skinny. It's light. Its draws, it doesn't hold a lot of it doesn't have a lot of capacity. You know, I think it's like a 375 weight capacity. You guys can check this out if you'd like. What's up, Wayne? I'm just looking back at these comments. So that was mine. Okay, in case you want to know my thought process of this. The only draw is that, yeah, you can't really hold too much fish, right? So it's got about a 350, 375 pound weight limit, which, you know, if you're a 150 pound guy, which I'm not, you know, I'm pushing almost 200. I can only carry about 150 pounds worth of fish before you start pushing that natural water line. So, but the Hobie Revo's performance is so beautifully pronounced, dude. The way it pushes through surf, like it's everything I want out of a pedal system. The performance is there. It's good enough to where you can even surf it. You'd obviously probably have to draw the fins or maybe prop them a certain way to where they're locking in. But the Revo, man, if you really want something that's gonna fly, something that's gonna get you from point A to point B if distance is an issue, look at the Revo, man. The Revo 16. The 13 is good too. I'm a big fan of the longer kayaks. A lot faster. I feel a little bit more control on them, and they cut much better. Coming in at number 3 for my pick on offshore kayaks. Goodness, what did I pick for number 3? Way to go, Chris. Oh yeah, the Viking. So I've had a couple. I described to a couple guys that I have ninja'd some kayaks, and what I mean by ninja'd is I'm borrowing them from friends and I'm secretly testing them out on the side. When I did that, I just recently got rid of the Viking. I had 2 Vikings. I had a Revo, and I had the Viking Pro Fish 440 New Zealand edition. Both great kayaks. But the reload is definitely better. You get it's a little bit faster, not much, but it's a little bit faster than the 440. But it was designed for hell, basically. That kayak, it's got a high rocker on it, and if you don't know what a high rocker is, whenever you're looking at a kayak's bow and you see that nose kind of flare up, that's what we call a high rocker, which is good for a lot of things. You know, it can work against you on smaller kayaks. As Chris said, you know, some of the kayaks walk a little bit, and what he means by that is when you're paddling, you kind of get this little shrug move. But on longer 14, 15, 16-foot kayaks, when you have a high rocker, it's not really an issue because it's already going to be going in a straight line just based off of how, you know, the length and whatnot and its keel. Where it doesn't matter if it could be a well-defined keel. Could be one that's a little bit more flush, but it's still there, like the Reload, which I think does a great job. And the Reload is a super fast kayak, one of the fast rotomold kayaks on the market that is I don't want to say a pure design offshore, because I know that they do push it in even the inshore flats, and it does great. It's on all water. It's a touring kayak. I don't want to say it's a touring kayak. But it kind of is, you know, it's got the DNA for offshore, and it's got the capabilities to even go inshore. You can even bass fish. Like if you want to keep up with the pedal drives, the Reload is the kayak you want to be in. And the reason that's not higher, a lot of guys would have probably put it at number 1, who are obviously in it. What I explained was that where I'm at in my offshore career is I've put myself wanting a lot of things, but mainly after I can figure out a kayak that can perform, after I figure out a kayak that I know is designed, not just is long enough for offshore, but actually designed for offshore. I'm going to look at storage. Can I put fish, and can I store my rods? Those are like the most important things to me right now. And the reason for that is because when you fish a lot offshore, especially as much as me, you know, dunking gear, flipping in the surf, you can only do that so much, man. Even if you're leashing it, even if you're bunging it to the side of your hole, your reels, your rods, all that salt, you can only take so much, even if you're not flipping, before you start throwing money in the trash. So going to my number 2 is exactly what we begin to go into. The Stealth Fisher 555, I listed as number 2. And really, there's a lot of different ones that they make that are a little bit, maybe just a hair shorter than the 555. But that kayak right there, if I was just going to strictly say performance, and I would definitely put it at number 1. But the only reason I'm putting it at number 2 is just because it's not for everybody. You know, it's I think you got to be well seasoned to get into that realm of kayak. It's not a stable. Oh, it is a stable kayak, but it's a kayak that you got to understand. It's obviously you got to find your center. You got to know how to paddle that thing. It's a beast. I would love to be in it. And I have. I've paddled the 555 before a few different times, and getting messages. So it rocks, dude. You can store your rods and your fish in the middle between your legs. It's super light. And I've seen guys push 7 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour in the surf with pushing water plus. That's a kayak that is probably one of the fastest kayaks on the market, and it's a paddle. It's not a pedal kayak. And yes, I seriously mean it's the fastest. That kayak right there is just, it's a rocket. It's a crotch rocket. So I listed that as number 2. Now, they're not rotomold. They're fiberglass kayaks, so just kind of keep that in mind. They also make them out of carbon fiber as well. Very good kayaks. Naturally, going on to number 1, I did pick the Trident 15, which probably isn't a surprise for all you guys. But, you know, let me explain as to why. You know, there's a debate, you know, and it can go either way. I've learned to appreciate heavier kayaks. I explained to the guys, you know, I was influenced before I really grasp enough kayaks to where I can feel certain things in my body. Like when you get on a kayak, they all have different characteristics. Can you identify the way it pushes water, how it turns, how it handles getting pushed and forcing acceleration, you know, off of surf? It doesn't sound like much, man, but you start to see the food chain kind of like you begin to appreciate design when you feel those and you get rocked and you're learning to handle these situations. If you choose to go that direction, you know, if you push yourself, if you're going out there battling 1-2 foot surf every time, you're probably not going to need to worry about that. But if you're going to push the envelope, test your limits, and you see that, man, it's only 2.5 foot swells, but there's some crashing 3 foot surf, you know, well, then you might elevate or begin to elevate your game like that to where you learn to appreciate a good design. Now, it's heavy, and when I say that, okay, going back, you know, I was influenced early on in my career by pro staffers to light. Why break your back? Go light, go light, go light. And there is a case for that. But there's also another side to that, man. There's, you know, if obviously you have back issues and you don't like carrying a 80 to 90 pound kayak, well then, yeah, consider something a little lighter. You know, I mean, that's just a no-brainer. Don't hurt yourself. But I learned to appreciate a heavier style kayak in the Trident 15, which is about 90 pounds. Doesn't feel like it, doesn't paddle like it, but it's a long kayak. It's almost 16 foot. It's a little under. It's a 15-foot kayak, but it's got some reach. It's got some legs in the 15-foot range, man. It's almost there. The plastic on the reason I picked it and the reason I've stuck with it throughout all these years is because I cannot duplicate or get any better than the feeling I have when I'm on it and I'm going through surf and I'm catching fish. And when I need the speed, I can get it. When I'm in wind, I feel much better with a heavier kayak. I don't get as bullied by the wind as much. If I'm going and I'm piercing through some surf with some mad headwinds, I'm able to cut and I'm able to use the weight of the kayak to where my nose won't go straight up and get blown backwards. I've seen this happen on the stealths. I've heard of it. I think Mike had an incident like that during one of the tournaments in the past few years. But he's not the only one. It's happened. It's got nothing to do with skill sets or anything like that. This is just the draw on paddling a super light kayak. You can get hit, and that nose can get lifted by wind. The Trident came in as number one to me, man, and I just haven't been able to find anything that can feel that great. And I just sort of wanted to break that down for you guys. I wasn't going to spend too much of your time today. The Trident 15, I'll go on to explain. Again, I'm going to leave the link for that podcast. I highly recommend, because there's no talk about top offshore kayaks, or there's not enough of it. And these are just my picks, man. Somebody else's picks will be completely different, and you're gonna sort of see that. But you're gonna see the grind behind those decisions, the thought process. You know, the way I think, the way I feel the water is not the same as my neighbor. And so he may have shuffling. You know, there's a lot of my top three. There's a lot of shuffling, and I stated that any of these could be number one. Just depends on what you're doing, how you feel, what you want to gain out of it. You know, something may be on that kayak that is a little bit more priority towards you that's not towards me, so I'm going to pick this other different one. But hands down, those top three right now are the best, I think, for a purebred offshore kayak. I say purebred because these are designed for big water. You know, some may disagree that there's not enough Hobies out there when you go to a tournament and you see 80% Hobies in the offshore scene. But at the same time, when you got that many people out, those aren't really, I mean, it's offshore, don't get me wrong, but you're not in offshore conditions, if that makes any sense. I've been in offshore conditions. I've seen what kayaks can make it out there, or hairy conditions, I should say. There's issues, and we talk about those issues. We talk about the faults of all these kayaks, the things to watch out for, whether it's the kayak I'm in, whether it's the kayak that Joe or Chris is in, whether it's a Hobie. It doesn't matter, man. It's the whole thing. There's no such thing as a perfect kayak, and it's a great podcast to just listen that I'll post in the bottom of this link once this video is done. But those, and let me recap it. Like, I forgot to tell you why I like it. Because you can put a small fish bag in there and store fish up front and store rods behind you. That kayak right there is probably got the most flexibility for that. I've gone already about 2.5, 3 years not having to change out. I still got the same reels, man, and they work great. This is the reel that I caught the sailfish on, and I don't have any problems with it, man. This is a Siegler release, though. It's an OG. And I stopped doing maintenance to this thing when I started storing my rods internally in my hole. It doesn't matter if I flip, doesn't matter if I'm taking water. They were pretty dang dry. Actually, they were always dry for the most part. I think maybe one time I did flip in the hatch. I didn't close it right, so I did get one time I got some water on it. But you'll get that. You'll get protection. It's almost an investment when you look at the Trident 15 and the Stealth Fisher. So yeah, man. All right, guys. If you have not already put your name, we're gonna wrap. If you guys have questions, y'all can lay them on me. I'm gonna start putting names for the giveaway. I'm gonna be giving away some lifestyle tees, some kayak fishing tees. We just started. We have a store actually here on YouTube. If you click on the store, you're just going to see 3 items. But if you actually click on the link, you're going to see the complete gallery. They take a while to load on YouTube. But they're real cool tees, man. They're not actually fishing shirts. These are just legit lifestyle tees. You're going out, hanging out with a family, hanging out at the beach, you know. It's just something to put on to let the world know that you are a kayak angler. They're just inspired by Next Level Fishing TV, but we have some other plans. So it's not really about me. It's not about the show. They're just lifestyle tees, man. If you want in, if you have not already typed one and you want in on this drawing, go ahead and type it now. I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes, and we're going to go ahead and begin this draw here. Michael, yeah, I know a lot of guys that do. Feel free, the lure. It's a great kayak, man. It's a great kayak. Probably not your most ideal for chaotic situations, but if you're paddling that kayak within its means, you're going to feel super safe on that thing. I don't know too much about... Oh, man, here we go. Let's see. Let me just write these names down because we're getting ready to do this drawing. And by the way, guys, if you guys are on Facebook, we just opened up our community page. We have a show page, and thank you for all the support on that. We've gotten, this past year, we got up to 20,000 followers on that. But we've opened up a community page, which is, the algorithm's a little different on that. And it gives me an opportunity to kind of help just kind of bring the community together a little bit. I feel like sometimes it's not as honed in. I don't know. We're going to try and have some fun with it. I hope it works out. Mario, Slick Rick. Slick, I need to get you some, man. All those decals, if you guys want decals, all that stuff is on our store. You can check it out. But, I'm also, if you go and you look up the Next Level Fishing TV community page, there's the actual show page, which is like the fan page. But we actually have like an actual Facebook group. We're doing a raffle on some stickers, and you'll get a free year of Kayak Angler magazine. We're giving away that here. You just got to share the original post on there. Joseph, man, we got some guys here today. How's everybody doing? Yeah, Michael, we'll be out there this week, man. I'm planning on Bill Burntley. What's up, dude? Okay, so hook. What I'm gonna have you guys do, whenever whenever I draw this winner, I'm gonna have you make sure. I hope it would make my life a lot easier if you did have Facebook. You can hit us up on our fan page, just message, or Instagram, or if you can send me a message on here. I'd like to kind of make sure that you pick what you want, your color, your size. Make sure I got everybody here. Okay, I think I do. All right. Last call. Last call for the giveaway. If you want in on this giveaway, type 1. If you've already done it, don't worry about it. I've got everybody already that's already typed 1. But I'm going to give you guys a minute here. Let me just scan through these. I'm just going to use a random number generator. I'm doing great, Marco. How you doing, man? Michael, yeah, we're nonstop filming, man. The Ultra is absolutely amazing. Bottom fishing. Okay, Andy. Okay, I'll continue to write these. Hook. Do I have 2 hooks, or did you hit it twice? Because I thought I wrote... Oh, I got Hook Texas, and I got Hook I got you. Okay. Hook. Got 2 hooks. Slick, I got you already, sir. Yeah, so, man, I don't know what I'm going to get next year. It might be, I don't know. I'm going to let you guys decide that. Should I stick with the Predator PDL? Should I get something new? really liking what Old Town's doing in this. That's why I've stuck with. And the Old Town Predators have been great. Love the pictures in the background. Yeah, man. So if you guys like art, always give a shout out to my boy Rob Choi on the East Coast. That is his original print. It's the Japanese press. That is a yellowfin tuna. Lake Calaveras freshwater reds. If you haven't seen our episode, that was we recorded that episode. It's a tournament edition episode from Next Level Fishing. We have different series. That's on our tournament edition. That was a 3rd place plaque. And then I got 1st place for the side pot for the redfish. That's Ray Del Mar, biggest king mackerel. That's 1st place offshore. This is the award we got whenever they made the mistake of letting kayak anglers compete with offshore boats, and we took 1st place, cleaned house against the machines. That's the Ray Del Mar Spanish mackerel, biggest Spanish mackerel. This is Ray Del Mar, 2nd place overall. Shout out to Eric Delois, who got me on that one, and Mike Garcia got on the podium again. Jesus, he got 3rd that day. Oh, here, I'll show you one. If you guys ever... This was 2020. I don't know if y'all can see that. That's 2020. That's the trout tournament that we won earlier this year. Try walking to the bank and depositing that. I got a few more here. I don't know. I need to get a better camera system here. Okay, let me pull this up. All right. Let's do random number generator. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 1, 16. Okay. All right, I'm about to draw the winner here, guys, for this shirt. By the way, just let you guys know. If you're coming to Corpus and you're in the future, you've got something going on. Working on getting an actual studio. So this show will actually be done in a studio, which means that when we do live things like this and we have special guests come over, we'll be able to have some fun and chit chat, and it's going to be super pro, dude. It's also going to be my escape and getaway to actually work on videos, man. It's a mind crunch. And it's tough when you are in the house and you got kids running around and great, amazing food that my wife makes, and you're having to do all this at the same time. But anyway, all right, here we go. Oh, number two. I'm going to take a picture of this. Okay. One sec. I'll post that on Instagram, just so you know. Let me see who, okay, so No Yak is number 2. Let's see who we got here. Congratulations to No Yak. Let me make sure oh, I'm sorry, Mo Yak. I put M, but it's Mo Yak. M-O Yak. Mo Yak Fishing. What's going on, brother? Has just won. Every time we go live on these, I usually go live once a week, man. I'm going to be giving away stuff, so you guys don't worry, man. You're going to have plenty of time to get on some goodies. If you want, again, if you guys just want some decal stickers, or if you want to just buy our lifestyle tees, they're on our store. You can get them. If you look on the YouTube page here, at the very top of our main page, you're going to see a store. It'll take you, it's only going to show you 3. Just go to the actual store itself, and you'll be able to see the whole lineup. And we're adding stuff like it's a lifestyle kayak fishing tees. They're fun. They're fun shirts. Mugs, stickers, decals for your kayaks and stuff like that are all there. But every week I'll be giving away stuff. So I'm just kind of throwing it all back. We make a sell. Whatever we make from it, I kind of draw that out, and I just throw it right back at you on giveaways. So that's kind of how I'm having fun with it. It's been a long time, dude. We haven't had any gear. Never, dude. I didn't decide. I told myself I would not have shirts, gear, anything until I felt like it was worth giving out, And you guys have been asking, so I finally decided to do it, and we hit the 10K this year. I told you guys that we were going to drop the hammer and get out of that 3 to 5K subscription range that we held for the longest time and see what happens when we started producing more content. And we doubled ourselves in less than a year. We did it in six months, man. So I want to thank you guys for all the support, man. It's been amazing, dude. You guys have been awesome. Continue to do what you guys are doing, man. We appreciate it, and I'm throwing it right back all at you. So I am going to go ahead and get off. Congratulations to Moyak Fishing. If you could please get a hold of me. Moyak Fishing, so I can get with you. If you don't have Instagram, Facebook, message me or something on YouTube, and I'll find a way to get with you so we can get you that gear. So, all right, guys. Y'all have a wonderful... hey, what's up, Seth? How you doing, brother? Y'all have a wonderful week. By the way, before I leave, ticker, offshore kayak fishing, Texas. Going to be super epic this year. Fishy factor is off the charts, as you can see from that ticker. 1 to 10, 20% rain, even just on like 1 or 2 of the days. 1 to 2 foot swells. It's go time, baby. It is go time. All right, guys. Y'all have a wonderful week. Thanks for tuning in.